Coming up on the program, thousands flee ethnic conflict in western Ethiopia. South Africa's finance minister Nlala Nene says former President Jacob Zuma fired him for refusing to approve contracts that would benefit the Gupta family. And Liberia's central bank refutes reports of alleged missing cash. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shoboele. The United Nations says fighting between rival ethnic groups in western Ethiopia has displaced 70,000 people, with over 40 killed. According to local media, violence erupted on Friday in one of the regional states after gunmen killed 4 local officials during a visit to neighboring Oromia region. Youths armed with rocks and knives forced people to flee their homes. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's push for reforms since coming to office in April has failed to curb ethnic conflicts. South Africa's finance minister Nlala Nene says he lost his job to former President Jacob Zuma's cabinet in 2015 because he did not back deals that would have benefited the Gupta family. Mr. Nene made the comments to an investigation that is looking into allegations that the Guptas exercised undue political influence over Mr. Zuma. His sacking as finance minister in December 2015 and replacement by the relatively unknown Des Van Rooyen caused public anger at the time. He was, however, reappointed in February shortly after President Cyril Ramaphosa came to power. Meanwhile, the Women's League of the governing African National Congress is calling for the castration of convicted rapists. The League's president acknowledges that there may be human rights objections, but she is of the firm view that the rights of perpetrators of such crimes should not supersede the rights of the victims. These comments come just after the start of a trial for a man alleged to have raped a 7-year-old girl in a restaurant toilet. South Africa has one of the highest figures of rape in the world. Joining us now to discuss more on this is South African journalist Bazikule Diko. Thank you for joining us on the program. So how are South Africans reacting to the ANC Women's League calling for castration of rapists?
Well, I'd say there hasn't been that much outpouring of opinion on the matter, but many do believe that the ANC Women's League has in the past failed to in fact highlight issues affecting women and children, and many believe that it's quite opportunistic of them to ride on this particular case and come out with such a strong statement of recommending castration in the case of rapists. But what we do know is that it would appear that some agree to a certain extent, saying that some kind of justice does need to be delivered for victims of rape, and too often many get off lightly with short sentences, which are further shortened by being able to get off on parole in many instances for good behavior.
So this call follows the start of a trial of the man alleged to have raped a 7-year-old girl in a restaurant toilet. How optimistic are you that justice will be served in this case?
At this moment, it would have to wait and see on the strength of the evidence and investigation from the police and the strength of the prosecutor who's been charged with delivering justice for this young girl. What we do know is that often here in South Africa, rapists can get anything, if convicted, anything from 7 years to 10 years. But all too often, as I alluded to earlier, you'll find that people will then have a further reduced sentence than even that 7 years, which many view as too light. So the optimism around the conviction is not very high. Most South Africans don't have faith in the justice system. They do believe that it's too easily manipulated, and that all too often police don't do a thorough job in the investigation phase, and therefore prosecutors are unable to secure successful convictions.
South Africa experiences an average of 110 rapes every day. What are the police doing to curb this crime and protect women and children?
From the police's side, their main argument is that all too often these kinds of crimes are happening in very personal spaces and spaces that they're ill-equipped to even begin to police. On the other hand, as I've told you before, I believe that we often find that victims are ill-treated by police and have difficulty with dealing with the system when reporting such a crime, thus also turning off a lot of people from even seeking that kind of help. So what the police are doing at this point, I would say nothing that we know about, but we do look forward to hearing from the National Police Commissioner, Castration, who has not long ago, about 3 weeks ago, when crime stats are released in this country, gave assurances that the police are working on different strategies that they cannot share in a public platform, as they would compromise some of the operations that they're working on. We look forward to hearing about those operations and their successes and how they plan on better protecting women who are particularly vulnerable in this country.
Basically, how did South Africa get here? When and how did rape become so prevalent in the country?
What I can tell you is that in my 30-odd years on this earth, I've always known this to be a reality. And some, when speaking on the issue, allude to deep psychological problems that exist in this country, with many saying the oppression of apartheid created a situation where we find ourselves in today. Just how that is, I'm not entirely sure, because what we do know from experts in the field of gender violence is that rape is a practice of power and not an act of lust. So we don't know if perhaps many men in this country find themselves wanting the taste of power at all costs, and they feel that the easiest thing to do is to take advantage of a woman.
African journalist Bazikule Diko, thanks for joining us on the program.